It's so nice we can finally meet face to face. You know, we've been chatting for a while, and I was always so curious if you look just as beautiful in person. But, well, I gotta be honest, you don't really look how you do in your photo. Resident Evil is a game about an evil resident. You have puzzles to solve, zombies to shoot, and a scarily limited number of bullets. And saving is an item that you can run out of. The story follows Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, depending on who you want to play as. If you're a girl, you're more likely to play as Jill. If you're a guy, you're more likely to play as Jill. But I'm a bit of a semi-corporeal entity of unknown origin myself, so I'll choose Chris. We've been given reports that a bunch of people were murdered in Raccoon City. Cause of death? Nibbles. The stars have been sent to investigate. Meet the wacky members of this team. Chris, Jill, Joseph... Oh, never mind. Meet the new wacky members of the stars. Chris, Jill, and Captain Wesker. Wesker is my best buddy. Even though someone from the live chat kept trying to convince me that Wesker hated Chris, I think he's just jealous of us. Some wolves are a little cranky, so we all decided to take shelter in this conveniently empty mansion. But we don't know where Barry is. Who's Barry? Oh. Guys, there's a gunshot coming from over here. You have no reason not to come with me, but let's split up so the zombies can pick us off one by one. Chris, I don't think you're supposed to know there are zombies yet. Don't worry about it. We're being dubbed by a guy who knows little to nothing about the franchise other than this game. In the dining room, there will be an ink ribbon and a moderate amount of confusion regarding the controls. Ink ribbons can be used at a typewriter to save. Use them sparingly. Go into the hallway. There's a zombie eating friend Kenneth. Chris is terrified. Head back to the main hall. Do not try to fight him with just a knife. That is how you die. Alright, let's hope they didn't go anywhere, and they went anywhere. At least they left behind a gun. This is good, because when putting lethal holes into a person's body, you're gonna want to use the gun. Go back to Kenneth and take a videotape. This has something very important, probably. I never managed to be able to play it. Keep going down the path until you reach this hall. You will find a golden arrow. Whenever an item seems completely useless, you'll want to examine it and click it once or twice to get something useful from it. In this case, we broke it. If you go down the end of the hall, you'll be on the balcony above the dining room. There's a statue holding a blue gem. There are quite a few statues and boxes you can move around for convenience in this game. In this case, we broke it. You'll find that pretty much any door in this mansion has doors that are unlocked with different keys, marked by an emblem of a sword, helmet, or piece of armor. Honey, where's the 1470 King Arthur's Excalibur key? Why? I'm trying to get the 99% pure blue diamond from the study. Why? To unlock the Lorax book in the library. Why? Because the Lorax book has a granite arrow in it. Why? Because I need to take the tip of the arrow and put it in the gravestone out back. Why? Because I need the old Spartan helmet key from the ancient tomb. Why? I need to use the bathroom. Arrow tip. Shove it in the gravestone. Head inside the tomb and grab the Book of Curses. The first curse is making you think you were smart enough to get this far, encouraging you to finish the game. There, on the back, is the sword key. This will let you unlock a bunch of stuff in the mansion. First, you'll want to head to the safe room. Main hall, upper west doors, far door right here, down the stairs, first door on your right. There will be an infinite amount of backtracking, so don't worry about how complicated this place is. You'll have memorized the entire mansion halfway through the game. You'll have to. The safe room is a great place to be. After fighting zombies, you can rush in here, cry, and go back out to keep fighting. It also allows you to store items. There are two other doors down here. One requires an old key, and another the armor key. Old keys are keys that can only be used once. At the top of the stairs and at the end of the hall, you can unlock this door even if you won't be going through it yet. It's very important that you do that, because you want to get rid of this key as soon as possible. You have a very limited inventory space, and Chris doesn't seem to be the type to store things up his butt. Wesker, on the other hand. Fly to the east and enter the art room. Push the drawer around to get the first floor map and enter this small room. There's just a dagger in here, which is more of an emergency item. The real reason for coming in here is to get a kiss. Go through the other door in the art room to trigger a moment. Walk in on a bathing zombie. Rude. And drain the water to find an old key. Go outside to pick up some herbicide. Keep going, and around this area you'll find another safe room by a staircase. Go inside to pull yourself together and discover a fuel canteen. This item will allow you to burn zombies to make sure they are dead. Listen, killing them doesn't kill them, so you'll have to either blow their head off or light them on fire after shooting them down. There's also another old key in here, so it's time to go back to the locked door by the other safe room. Whee! Using the old key, you'll find a room with a broken shotgun. There's a room on the other side of the mansion with a real shotgun. So replace the shotgun in this room with the broken one, because if you leave the space empty, then you will be crushed by the ceiling. Aha! So go upstairs in the study. You can find a dog whistle, along with a note that says, "I know you wanted me to protect this really important item, so I put it on a dog." The note explains that the area to blow the whistle is on the west balcony, so I'll go ahead and do that. This may make you upset, but Chris kills the dogs. Get used to it. Let's see. What was it the worker hid from us? It's a key, but it's fake and it doesn't unlock anything. I think this is the Resident Evil version of passing an unplugged controller to your younger brother. Here's a special key. Don't lose it. Okay, this key actually is to be used for yet another Indiana Jones style trap. The armor key is here in the hallway, and removing it will send statues to blend you like a fresh strawberry smoothie. So you'll use the fake key to put back into the slot. I just want to put this out there. You totally could have just used the sword key when you were done with it and avoided the hassle of dog murder. This game is old. I shouldn't be angry. Back across the mansion. Woo! You can go outside and find Friend Forrest. He is dead. This is a very serious moment, but I, having just met him, am not invested in his death. So let's move on and wait for the inevitable moment when he gets up and attacks us. There it is. Back inside somewhere, we'll meet Rebecca and Richard. Richard got bit by a snake, so we'll need to head all across the mansion and back to grab a serum from the medicine room. Whee! Woo! He didn't make it. I did try to go as fast as I could, so when he died, I thought that his death was just a scripted event. I didn't realize until later I could have been faster. Well, whatever. The game doesn't end when a friend dies, so I'll skip the stages of grief and just accept the loss. Past the room where he died, you can find a musical score. So if you are upset about his death, then you can at least play a little music to feel better. You are also to visit the night room. We will have this puzzle in which you push a night statue that's connected to other statues. So pushing one into place will cause some others to step out of line. It's kind of like dealing with children, even down to the fact that they will murder you if you don't do everything right. If you succeed, you'll get a jewelry box, except it's not a jewelry box. It's a mask. What a spooky mask it is. And if this spooky mask isn't spooky enough for you, the game lets you know just how spooky it is. You aren't going to need it yet, so put it in a box! Back upstairs, you can take this middle door with the armor key, search the bedroom on the right for an old key, and search the left room for a fun arts and crafts project. This room took me a while, but I did manage to figure the game out all on my own using a walkthrough. So grab the fish hook from the case in the back, and the golden lure of a beer right here. Combine them in the menu, and you'll go to replace the bee specimen with the lure. This will provide access to a wind crest and an absolute nightmare of a wasp. Go to the other side of the mansion's safe room and keep going down the hallway to the left until you find a room with a plant creature. You can put the chemicals from earlier in here to contaminate the water and turn on the sprinklers. Be sure not to activate the wrong ones. No! So kill the plant, and that will grant access to the second death mask. When you leave the room, you can enter the dining room to gain the wooden emblem. You could technically grab this from the very beginning of the game and slowly go crazy trying to figure out what it's for. Go back into the hallway where friend Kenneth died and enter the door on the left here. In this room will be the next part of the musical piece you got earlier. As I've been told, if you play as Jill, she could just play the piano here, which will open up the wall. But as Chris, he's too cool to concern himself with the whimsy and wonder that music fills her life with. So Rebecca comes in to save the day. We give her the musical score and leave the room to let her practice. You actually have to let her practice. You can normally just wait around the hall for 3 minutes until she gets it. I don't know why I find that really funny. You can't just leave and walk back in. There's no scripted point where she's done. You just wait while she tries to get the song done. When she successfully plays it, you can enter the passage here and grab the gold emblem, which is of course a trap. You'll have to replace it with a wooden emblem from the dining room, and then go back to the dining room to put the gold emblem on the wall. This unlocks the grandfather clock. Here there will be a pretty simple puzzle. You must stab one man in the head and another in the balls. Nope, that wasn't it. And another in the armor. The clue for this puzzle can be read at the very beginning of the game, so everywhere I went I was like, oh boy, is this my chance to pierce? I've been waiting all day. This will get you the shield key. Now you have access to
a little more.
Go past Whoopsie Casualty and unlock the door to the snake. Just get the death mask in here and leave. Do not try to fight and kill the snake. Not that it's not possible, it just isn't yet. The game wants to save this snake for a chase sequence later. Fine, I'll humor you for a bit, the game. Downstairs, we can enter this hallway with some stained glass pictures. This here is Lisa. What a sightly young woman. I sure hope nothing bad happens to her. The puzzle here is making specific paintings specific colors. It's easy to figure out. The wall will raise, letting you go outside and grab the final death mask. Now that you have them all, they can be taken back down to the tomb to place on these faces. Now prepare for a boss battle.
Chris versus significantly stronger zombie than those other guys.
Now you'll have a stone and metal object. This can be placed in the door to the basement of the mansion, which will do nothing. Yet, you need the other one, so take it with you. If you head back into the stained glass hall and keep going, you'll end up back outside where you can use your new object. Now, you've entered the tool shed. Going out the lower door will put you in a backyard path with some weather vanes. Make the red one face west and the blue one face north, and the gate is gonna open so that you can go forth. You're gonna want to bring the wind crest with you, because you can place it into the gravestone to get 3 more crests! No! Actually, these 3 crests can go right back into the grave, so you don't really need a lot of inventory space for them. And congratulations! You got the Magnum Revolver! This is the strongest weapon in the game. My live chat suggested I don't switch to it yet, because I should save the Magnum rounds until I really need them. I've always been the kind of gamer to save all my strong items for when I really need them, and then the end of the game comes and I still never use any of them. So you'll be unsurprised to hear that I never ended up using this gun, despite going out of my way to collect the Magnum rounds throughout the game. If you go way off into the forest, which I really didn't want to do, I know that's where zombies live. I do not like horror games. I don't think this counts. Anyway, if you go into the forest, you'll end back up at this shack. It's a quaint little place that only houses a safe room and a crank for you to use. This is honestly my favorite place in the game. It's far from everything else and acts as a nice little safe guarded from— oh, come on! If you couldn't tell, this is Lisa from earlier. She's never looked better. Weirdly enough, she knocked Chris out and just sort of waited around until we got back up. No imprisoning him or turning him into a succulent meal. I wasted a few shots on her. Bam! 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 Wait! I checked the wiki just to be sure that she could die. You actually can't kill her. It also says if you leave and come back, she disappears from that area forever. I think that's absolute bullheck. I'm never coming back. Go back into the shed and head out the other door you haven't gone through yet. Run past the doggies and through the gate. There's a pool here. Chris Redfield was a US Air Force pilot. He is one of the only surviving members of the Special Tactics and Rescue Service. He has fought tirelessly against human and non-human evils, natural and supernatural obstacles. He also cannot swim. So we'll need to bring the crank to drain the water so he can walk across and enter the elevator that brings him down to the one of the scariest, one of the places Chris has ever gone. The Residence. In the residence, the first door on your right is a safe room, and up ahead you'll find the room with a couple important things. Nope. Collect the red book, and keep note of all the oil lamps. They'll have certain eye designs on them, which, you'll see on the billiards table, correlate with certain numbers. It'll be a while until this becomes important. To the right, there's a little bit of evil in this residence, so we're gonna want to move this box to climb over the weird creature. Down the hallway, you will find a map of the house. This is a hole that the map was covering. You will want to look through the hole. Do not look through the hole. You are not ready for what is in this hole, and it will only activate once you look through it. It's bees. In this bedroom is a bathroom. In this bathroom is a shelf. On this shelf is a key, and this key opens the first left door near the front of the house. If you go into this room, you'll see that somebody accidentally slipped and fell into a noose. A very common mistake. Right here, you'll find a self-defense gun, which, if this guy had a gun with him, why would he choose to hang himself? I mean, I'm not saying it's okay either way, but like, this would be the quicker option. Anyway, the bathtub has a key for the control room. Now, why would this unassuming house require a control room? Well, if you go back into the bedroom, push the shelf and go down these stone corridors, you'll find sharks. But like, why? This place is a bit flooded, or it was intended to be this high, and the sharks will try to chew upon your bones. So you'll need to run to the other side and enter the control room. So the place you want to go is also flooded, so you'll need to drain the water. Surprisingly, the sharks do not enjoy when you try to drain their water when they need water to survive. So the system will panic as the big shark tries to break the window. I'm surprised it's never tried this before. You've been down here for years. You never thought to expand your house just out of curiosity? So there's this whole complicated process to drain the water, which is made nearly impossible due to how the camera works in this game. Have I mentioned the camera yet? It's the worst. You can rarely ever see where you're going, and figuring out directions is impossible. If you're trying to run away from a zombie attack, just accept your fate and die because you'll have to keep changing your movement buttons, because W+A does not move you in the same direction it did half a second ago. So we successfully drain the water, walk around the base of the area to grab the gallery key, and then this guy, who is affectionately named Big Ass Shark, will suddenly wake up. To kill him, you push the control panel into the water and turn it on. Now you can go up this ladder to re-enter the residence and the gallery. In here, there are bees. But don't worry, as there is bug spray very close by. This is to be sprayed through the hole from earlier. This insecticide is apparently strong enough to kill everything on that hive immediately. The dead hive will now let you get the key to the room nearby. Enter it and place the red book on the shelf with all the others to open the door to the plant monster. Chris is now in a situation that 70% of the internet would not hate to be in. At least Miss Convenient Timing showed up to help out, so we switched to her for a bit. Rebecca is a medic, so she'll know how to use the chemicals in this room over here. If you were paying attention, this room is accessed using the code hinted at using the billiards room. If you are not paying attention, the room is still accessed the same way. This medicine seems really complicated, but it's actually just basic addition. You want to make V-Jolt, which sounds like an energy drink. I'm sure that would kill the plant monster just as fast. You've got red UMB number 3, which is worth 3, yellow 6, worth 6, and water, which is worth 1. You just need to combine these until you get 20, except apparently the way I want to do it doesn't work, because for some reason, 4 plus 6 equals 10, but 3 plus 7 does not equal 10. Anyway, we successfully made the V-Jolt. This stuff is to be taken back down to the middle room where the sharks were. Pouring this stuff on the roots will at least weaken the plant, so we can regain control of Chris and beat the devil out of it. Now we can grab the helmet key, effectively granting us access to every emblem door in the mansion except one, but don't worry about that. On the way out, we'll meet with Wesker. I didn't mention until now, but occasionally he's been restocking safe rooms with extra items. He's a cool guy. I'm sure he won't turn evil anytime soon. Now we can go back into the mansion. Now that we have come back to a place for a second time, some new enemies have appeared. Let me introduce you to the Hunter, just as they introduced me to the sensation of pooping and peeing myself simultaneously. I don't like that. The next stop is the area above the very first safe room. In this room, there are some animal heads that you will need to grab gemstones from, but I can't grab them because
I always feel like this crow is watching me, because it is.
you'll need to keep out of its sight to grab the gems. This gives you a yellow and red gem to go with the blue one from way earlier. You can put the blue and yellow gems into the tiger statue on the floor below. This gives you some more ammo and an MO disc. This is one of those items that will become absolutely necessary way later in the game. But for now, just put it away in a box. Excitingly, you can now go through the door here on the main floor. It's always fun to have a late game only accessible area right by the beginning of the game. It gives this feeling of climax. Nope, that's not it. This feeling of completing a cycle. This room has a jewelry box that you'll have to unlock using the red gem. You will then be presented with a puzzle, which when completed will provide you with a brooch, which when examined will provide you with the final emblem key. Now you can enter the study. Seriously, why do these homeowners have such complicated methods of reaching basic areas? Inside the study, you'll find a metal object, similar to the other one you got from the tomb. This possibly means we have both of them for the basement door. Unrelated, I also heard Rebecca scream from the floor above me. Now, if I can make some assumptions on how this game might work, I'd assume that whatever event was going on would only trigger once I get upstairs, so I'm gonna focus on opening the door first. I took both metal objects from the study and the shed outside to bring to the basement door. I put one in, but I wasn't able to put in the other. After looking at it, I came to the conclusion that I actually need to put the metal object into a stone object to then put into the door. So what now? Oh yeah, Rebecca. Well, heck, it turns out there was indeed a time limit. Of course, at the time, I didn't know I could actually save her, so I just carried on. But yeah, both people who died here were absolutely preventable, and imperative to getting the good ending, so allow me to commemorate the tragedy. This is for you, Rebecca. Sorry, Rebecca, didn't mean to let you perish. You saved me from a plant monster, and times like those I cherish, yes I do. I didn't notice you were screwed. It's nothing I could do. Sorry, Rebecca, for your life I'm a sublimer. I'd have come a little sooner if I knew there were a timer, yes I would. I had to see if this thing fit the wood. I swear it should. Oh, and now you've passed away. Oh, and now you've passed away. Oh, now I can't beat the game. Oh, you were so far away. A couple yards is quite the trip, but they've got planes and cars and shit I'd give up if I had no other way. The captain will make fun of us and I'll just laugh along because I know at least that I am a-okay. I'll stop it here. You may notice that the video is over and the game is not yet complete. Well, it turns out that Resident Evil is a big game and will require a part 2. So here I'll share my next 2 projects, Shantae and the 7 Sirens, and then this video, but a part 2. Subscribe if you want to keep up on this stuff. Alright, that's all. Bye bye.